A few years ago, a friend of mine and a guy from work asked me if I would like to play in a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. I had always been interested in Dungeons and Dragons, but growing up, I didn't really have a friend group that would play with me. So I obviously said yes, but I wanted to learn a little bit more about the game before the first session started. So I found an actual play. The first actual play I watched was by Dropout with Dimension 20. I had always been a fan of College Humor. I was a fan of College Humor when they initially started on YouTube, and I had heard that they were doing a D&D campaign through Dimension 20. I had liked Brennan Lee Mulligan already. I had seen him in a couple of sketches. So I'm like, why not give it a shot? And since then, I have watched a decent number of actual play campaigns. So today I want to talk about my favorite DMs from those actual plays and just give a couple of reasons why people are my favorite. But let's get some honorable mentions out of the way first. If I had time to listen to podcast, I would probably love Brian Murphy. I say if I had time. The problem is I listen to too many podcasts. I understand that, but I have to kind of prioritize certain ones. So if I had more time, I think I would love Brian Murphy. I loved the first season of NADPOD, but I stopped listening in season 2. Brian Murphy did an incredible job in season 1. I mean, he could probably be on this list if I'd kept going with the podcast. I think he's an incredibly good DM. B. Dave Walters is doing an incredible job in the Yard D&D, but I haven't really seen him in anything else yet. He barely misses this list because I just really like the Yard D&D, but I think I mostly like the Yard D&D because of the dynamic at the table. So I'm already a fan of the Yard podcast. I think it just feels like a group of friends joking around, sometimes with a guest. And the Yard D&D kind of extends that feeling. It feels like a group of friends playing at a D&D table. It doesn't feel like it was constructed for an actual play. Will Campos did an incredible job DMing season 3 of Dungeons and Daddies. They played Call of Cthulhu in that season, which is a game I've always been curious about, but I also have not gotten the opportunity to play yet. And I really liked his style for season 3. He barely misses the list. Nikki from Legends of Adventures does a great job, and she feels like a good home DM. Like she feels like somebody you would play a game with. I love Legends of Adventures, but I haven't watched much of this stuff. I did back the Kickstarter for Crooked Moon, and I have the book. I think I did a video unboxing that. So I really respect Legends of Adventures. I just haven't gotten into this stuff. Honestly, they have longer seasons, longer episodes. It can be hard for me to get into. To get a couple more things out of the way, I have not watched Adventure Zone. I have not seen people like Deborah Ann Wall, Jasmine Bueller, Matt Coville, Chris Parkins, or the Dungeon Dudes run games. I have heard great things about those people, and eventually I would like to watch some of their stuff. It's just mostly a time constraint right now. I need to watch Rotating Heroes because I love Zach Oyama, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. So I definitely need to get into that a little bit. So let's kick off our list. We're going to go from my favorite DM to my 5th favorite DM. So we're not going backwards like most lists do, because I think the list becomes more surprising the farther you go into it. My favorite DM is going to be a common one. I think this is one that a lot of people would say is their favorite. So my number one favorite actual play DM is Brennan Lee Mulligan.
I don't know what you kids are up to, but I do know one thing. Laws are threats made by the dominant socioeconomic ethnic group in a given nation. It's just a promise of violence that's enacted, and police are basically an occupying army. You know what I mean?
Brennan Lee Mulligan did about 20 seasons of Dimension 20. He has done Critical Role, Exandria Unlimited Calamity, Downfall, and Exandria Unlimited Divergence. And he is currently running Campaign 4 of Critical Role. He is my favorite DM for a couple of reasons. His monologues are legendary. I don't think anybody that I've watched monologues as well as Brennan E. Mulligan. He just gets into the character incredibly well. His character voices are great, and he builds really interesting NPCs that are heavily influenced by the players. which I think is very important here. Maybe his biggest strength is how well he caters to his players. In Fantasy High, he made the campaign for the first season more about intrigue because Wiz needed to investigate something. I guess initially there wasn't going to be this whole scheme and everything for them to figure out, but one of his characters wanted to be like a detective, a budding detective. So he made that happen. With his extensive background in improv, he is the master of yes and. He can quickly switch from comedy to a more serious tone. At the same time, he can make conversations feel more realistic by peppering jokes into the serious conversations with certain NPCs. Going back to Fantasy High, the conversation between Adine and Jawbone is both motivational and hilarious at the same time.
Having panic attacks, that is not a character flaw. Do you understand? You are not a coward. You have a goddamn medical condition, all right? I was in a truck stop bathroom sucking off a border patrol.
Brennan's world building is also incredible. Settings like Spire from Fantasy High, the food-themed land of Calorum from Crown of Candy, the Noel setting of Mintopolis, the dark fantasy land of Never After, and the altered version of New York City and Unsleeping City all feel like distinct places with distinct inhabitants. So that is why Brennan is my all-time favorite actual play DM. If there are other things you love about Brennan, leave a comment. If there's anything you disagree with, leave a comment. If you haven't checked him out, I would definitely recommend it. He does an incredible job in every campaign I've seen him play. And he's an incredible player if you want to watch any of the stuff that he's been a player in. My second favorite actual play DM might be a little bit of a surprise because I don't think this is the conventional pick. At number 2, I have Anthony Birch from Dungeons and Daddies.
So as you were telling him that, his eyes slowly got wider and wider and wider, and his mouth slowly dropped more and more open. And then once you finish talking, he goes like, "Dad, I'm 12.
His actual play is the least like D&D, although that is the system that they use for all of the seasons he's DM'd for. Dungeons and Daddies is loose and fast with the rules, but the comedy of this show is incredible. Anthony Birch makes some of my favorite NPCs, like Scam Actually and the villains from seasons 1 and 2 of Dungeons and Daddies. The fourth season is maybe my favorite TTRPG I've ever listened to. It is both hilarious with a great story and great characters and NPCs and players, and it's just incredibly good. Season 2 wasn't as strong, but I still loved it. I think a lot of people didn't like it at all, which is confusing to me, but I loved season 2 of Dungeons and Daddies. Honestly, if I was talking about some of my favorite players, Dungeons and Daddies has probably a couple of my favorite players. I love that entire group, but Anthony is just an incredible DM. The most recent season, Grandpas and Galaxies, has been really fun so far, and I look forward to each episode. I listen to all of this on Spotify. I don't know if there's a lot of places to listen to Dungeons and Daddies. I don't think they get uploaded to YouTube. But I listen to these on Spotify, and I'm constantly checking for new episodes because I'm always really bad about remembering when episodes are supposed to release. So I'm constantly checking my Spotify to see if there's new episodes of Dungeons and Daddies. Maybe he isn't technically the best DM on this list, but he is definitely one of my favorites, and he is very close to number 3 on this list. They're pretty neck and neck for favorite DMs. So at number 3, I have Abuya Iyengar.
But you know for a fact, you can feel it in your bones because you felt it your whole life, that something ominous is in fact creeping closer.
Abuya has DM'd for Critical Role Exandria Unlimited and a few seasons of Dimension 20, Misfits and Magic, A Court of Fae and Flowers, and Burrow's End. Misfits and Magic does have 2 seasons. I would highly recommend that show. It's just incredibly good. It's one of my favorite shows Dimension 20 has done. Now, I have not watched Exandria Unlimited. I've heard that that one is a little divisive, but just from what I've watched on Dimension 20, she does an incredible job. Now, I don't know if she DMs for anything else. If she does, leave a comment because I would love to know what else she has played, what other groups she has DM'd for. But I know she does a really good job with Dimension 20. I feel like her NPCs feel real, and that might be my favorite part of her DMing style. They react to things in ways that people would react to things. The NPCs in Misfits and Magic are often scared of Evan Kemp, and they react to the word muggle like somebody would react to a slaw in real life.
And like, what was the other? Was the other word muggle? How is Nam
Please
better?
don't say. You can't say that out loud. There's people you actually see like a.
Because in Misfits and Magic, that's what it is. She also does an incredible job of building suspense in Burrow's End. She gives a world of Stout's actual stakes. The characters feel like they have a lot riding on the events of the game. It's dramatic and incredibly entertaining. She is maybe the best on this list at just setting tones for a session. Like I said, Burrow's End is incredibly tense. Court of Fane Flowers is very dramatic. Misfits in Magic, you feel like these characters are the outcast of this school because they weren't supposed to be there. Like they were brought to the school to see if it would work. Overall, Abria is just incredible. I wish more people would give her a chance. I've heard some people in the Critical Role community just aren't her biggest fans. I think she is maybe one of my favorite players as well, because she just does an incredible job with every character she's played. But she is a really good DM, and I think if you haven't checked out her stuff on Dimension 20, I would highly recommend it. We've gone through 3 people, and we're missing a name on this list. And I hate to say, that name is not my number 4. So coming in at number 4, I have Olivia Wake from Cozy Crypt.
Appalachia, as it's called, is a land untamed, rising through blankets of mist like ghostly giants, its peaks veiled in mystery, and its foothills rooted by memory.
You might not know what Cozy Crypt is, but it's an actual play I've recently started listening to. I think at the time of recording this, they have 18 episodes on YouTube. I've gotten through 10 of them. Olivia Wake DMs this campaign, which is based in Appalachia. Appalachia? I think I'm saying it correctly, but I'm so worried that I'm not. And involves a lot of cryptids. I love her NPCs. Each cryptid feels distinct. She describes scenes better than most people I have listened to. Her roleplay with her characters is incredible. She can make a session that has no combat somehow interesting to me. That's something I can't say very often. When I play D&D, I focus very heavily on the combat sometimes. I think she has entire sessions where there's no fighting, which for an actual play is also kind of different. Her campaign is heavily homebrewed, from the monsters she uses to the subclasses that her characters are using. Her players each have a homebrewed subclass. That is difficult to do. I appreciate the work she's put into her campaign. Honestly, if you're just looking for a new actual play to listen to, I would just recommend Cozy Crypt. I have no stake in this, but her DMing, her players, the world she has built, and the sound design are all incredible, and Cozy Crypt should be getting more attention. I just really like the show. So if you're watching this, please go check them out. They do a really good job. It is Cozy Crypt. Just to reiterate, they don't have like video for the actual play from what I can tell. But like I said, the sound design is really good. I'm impressed that a smaller group that is kind of just emerging into the scene is so good with sound. They're better than I am with sound by a decent amount. And then number 5 on my list of favorite DMs is Matt Mercer. So Matt Mercer has famously DM'd for Critical Role, and he DM'd the Ravening War for Dimension 20.
Bishop Nathaniel, it is an absolute pleasure. I apologize for the delay in our ability to commune, but welcome, and please, within the bulb's light, speak freely.
This might seem sacrilegious to people, but this is based on the little I have seen him DM. I have only seen him run the Ravening War. And I've seen clips from Critical Role, including the hag scene that is incredibly famous. His voices are probably the best in the game, which makes sense. He is a professional voice actor. That's what he does for a living. His world building is often praised, but I obviously haven't seen any of that. The Ravening Wall, he comes into a world that Brennan Lee Mulligan made. Similar to how Brennan comes into a world that Matt Mercer made in the first couple of Critical Role campaigns that he ran. Honestly, my biggest issue is the episodes for Critical Role are too long and there's too many of them. So like, I want to get into Critical Role, but these episodes are like 4 hours, I think, on the low end. And I don't want to dedicate that much time to catching up. But I do really like what I saw from him in the Ravening Wall, enough to put him on a top 5 list. Like, he did an incredible job. I really like seeing him as a player. So I need to check out more from Matt Mercer. I understand that. It's just a time constraint right now. I might check out like some one shots or something if they've done any of those. Just leave a comment on what I should check out with Matt Mercer so that I'm not going down a rabbit hole of 100 episodes at 4 hours long. And that's so much dedication. That's so much time given into it. So just leave a comment if there's anything shorter that I can check out to see how good Matt Mercer is. Okay? Other than that, leave a comment below with your favorite DM that you've ever seen. Like the video if you liked the video, obviously, and then share it with your friends and stuff if you think any of my opinions are bad, because honestly, that's normally the opinion of people, is that my opinions are bad. My t-shirt does say the Jellyfish Manifesto on it. I don't ever plug my other stuff, but the Jellyfish Manifesto is a show that me and my friend Eric have on YouTube where we interview creative people. So we have interviewed a few painters, an author or two. We've interviewed some musicians recently, some videographers. Like, we've just talked to a lot of interesting people. I think the interviews are really fun. Go check that out if you're interested. Other than that, guys, I hope everybody is having an incredible day. And until next time, peace.